Hi, folks. You are watching and listening to a very special edition of Open Bar. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That young lady out there is
Araceli Sharp in San Antonio, Texas.
You know, by the way, folks, Araceli is going to be our next catadora for the Consumer Catador course. So this is her interview. This is her exit interview. and for the Consumer Catador course. And also, if you stick with us, part 2 of this will be her final. So she gets to dissect a brand new tequila unbeknownst to anybody. But anyway, first of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, myself and Lisa, our managing partner, for taking the course, because that means a lot to us. When we wrote this right before pandemic hit, this was actually going to be an online course. And I had voiced and recorded all the chapters and everything. And right at the last minute, she says, I bet this would go really well as a book. And I said, God, you're killing me. Because I thought publishing was dead, but that's where her background is publishing. She self-published. Yeah. So we did it on Amazon. We threw the spaghetti against the wall and it stuck. And I want to know, why did you pick this course out of all the ones you could have taken? Why did this one draw your attention?
So I have followed you, Mike, for quite a bit, on YouTube and social media, and you seem to have a lot of knowledge, and so did Lisa, as far as, what it takes, I guess, to get the information that you need that's correct, or, that, like you said, you kind of have to dissect the information you're getting.
Yeah.
But it seemed to be the most,
nowadays.
Yes. And it seemed to be the most reliable, and just the knowledge behind it. So I looked at it on Amazon. I kind of got the preview, and, like I've told you, I've drank tequila a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just wanted to further my knowledge. And I felt like this gave me a good, strong base. So I
did it
clicked on the book.
But so now that you've gone through the course, how do you feel now? Did you learn anything? Was there what happened? I mean, how did we do?
Oh, I mean, just so much knowledge. Like I said, a wealth of knowledge. A lot more that I didn't realize wasn't as transparent in the industry that I thought it was. Mm-hmm. So just a lot of those little details, kind of like you pulled the curtain and I got to see behind the curtain. It was a lot of that. And so just a lot of realization on that. So that was good information.
Thank you. That's what we were hoping for. We wanted to make it a certain level of information, where if somebody just wanted to be superficial about it, they could, but if they wanted to dive deep, there was enough material there for them to sink their teeth into. And what we were hoping was that the person who decided to read this book and take the course would rely on their own, to do their own research, because I even tell people, don't even, and I think I even wrote this to you in one of the exercises. And by the way, folks, if you've seen the course, you don't know what's going on. There are lessons in the book where you send in your lessons, and you're working with me. Yeah. So we have these long, I think it was a year-long, trek for you, and that's okay because it's self-paced. And in one of our conversations, I said, don't even take what we say in here as gospel. We're giving you the information that's there, but like anything else, it evolves. It's just like a glass of tequila. The longer you let it sit open, the more it starts to reveal itself, unless it's a diffuser, and then then you're just gonna you got mouthwash. What do you do for a living? I just what's your background? I mean, you're not in the liquor industry, are you?
No, I am actually an accountant.
You're a bean counter. That explains your precision. I said this to Araceli in some of her exercises. I was amazed at the how organized you were, and your skills at dissecting things, delving deep, and not everybody's that detail oriented. So that makes sense to me. Now
I'm a little more detail, a lot of list. So they make fun. My husband's like, you have a list for a list for a list. I'm like, I do. But
by the way, your husband's an evil man.
Yes, thank you.
uh,
Yes, I do agree.
did you tell him? Did you share the exercise with? What he
I
did was for a couple of last exercises, Araceli went to a local bar there,
Mhm.
and you did some flights,
Yes,
but they chose your husband and the bartender chose
yeah.
the booze, and when I got the results back, first of all, I was amazed that you were able to cut through all that stuff, because I confessed to her I never would have picked that as a flight yet,
Mhm.
because none of them, it was apples and oranges. None of them
Yes.
actually were what they thought it was, or maybe they did it on purpose. I don't know. Only you and your husband know that, but you still got
Mhm.
into it and were able to pick out certain qualities in that particular flight. And I was amazed, because it's like, man, that's a lot of experience. And if anybody follows Araceli on her social media on Instagram, you have a vast library of tequila. You are,
Yeah.
I guess, being an accountant, that kind of drives you to drink anyway. So,
Yes, exactly. Month end close, quarterly close, annual close. Yes.
tax time. Yeah. All that. Yeah.
Exactly.
um, so when did you start drinking tequila like that? When did you, it's interesting because I've seen your collection. You have by the way, your photos are beautiful. You have really a great eye for setting
Thank you.
it up. Um, and I noticed that you had some really quality stuff, and I thought, I'm seeing this from a lot of guys, that they have that kind of a collection, but I was amazed that you had that kind of quality. It was really expertly curated. It wasn't like because they were just pretty bottles.
Yeah.
You really put some thought into your collection. So when did you start drinking? I mean, when did you start going to tequila instead of like rum or something?
Yeah, I guess probably in my 20s, I, like everyone else, had vodka, rum,
By the way,
whiskey.
she's only in her 30s now. So.
Yeah. Yes. And so, what I always say is, tequila is the only one that's never done me wrong. Had a bad breakup with vodka, whiskey, but tequila's just always been my friend, and I learned to appreciate it over time as well. Being my parents were both from Mexico, and my father was very much about the culture of Mexico, and just very proud of the culture. And so it just kind of intrigued me more to research it and look into what goes into the tequila industry and behind it, and how it supports, the workers there as well. And then it just kind of grew from there. I just started, tasting different things, and I noticed that there were differences, different expressions, of course, and different processes that changes the flavor. And then I realized, this is a lot like wine. And a lot of people
Yeah.
would be like, how is it, what? How is it different? I'm like, it's like wine and then whiskey. And so it just kind of grew from there. And like you said, it's just been a collection that's been growing.
Wow. Yeah, she's got quite a collection. It's too bad that you and I didn't meet when I was living in San Antonio. I
I
moved back
know.
here in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Right at pandemic, when LA became ground zero again for whatever variant we had.
Hmm.
And yeah, because it would have been cool. Of course, we didn't have the course. We were in the middle of making it,
Right.
bringing it to market. So yeah, had we met, we'd have been like drinking buddies or something.
Yeah,
Me and Lisa would
exactly.
probably been hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
So it's neat that uh, for me, that there's this kind of need for it, and like again, you're very advanced. I can tell when a student, at what level a student kind of sends me in their homework, and you kind of know where they're at, and that's okay, because I get them from all over. But
Hmm.
what really excites me is the level of the caliber of people that are taking this course. People that like our newest catador. He's a bourbon steward. He's a WSET level 2. And I asked him,
Oh.
Todd Mayville, I said, why did you bother taking our little course? And he says, I'm always learning. Plus
Hmm.
it was during pandemic, so he had like a lot of free time, right? And he said, anybody that tells you that they know everything about a booze is lying to you. And it's like, wow, to be that open-minded, you know, and now he's delving into mezcal. We have the mezcal tasting journal that Lisa and Alvin Starkman put together. So that's available for anybody who wants to graduate further. And when you're talking about tequila being like wine, mezcal is really very much like wine. And the regions make a difference. The plants make a difference. The microclimates, the hand of the maker. It's wine. I mean, you know, all the nomenclature, you know, the what you call it really translates across very well to mezcal, more so than tequila, because they only make tequila out of one plant. Yeah,
exactly.
So what was surprising for you when you took the course? What was it that you went, really? You know, that kind of just shocked you, or?
I think the one that shocked me the most was how the distilleries can purchase agave plants from different, you know, different areas, different fields. And, you know, it might be a highlands agave and it's being transported to another distillery somewhere else. And that sometimes you'll have a blend of both the highlands and the lowlands agave plants. So it's not just one region or the other. That was surprising to me. I was not aware that they were doing that. That was interesting.
I know a lot of folks, they are surprised that they don't know that distilleries can actually buy bulk 100% tequila blanco from each other.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. It's like, oh, really? Yeah, because people, you know, when we were taught, the known number was the way you read the label. The known number means where it's produced.
Exactly.
No, it only means where it's bottled, not necessarily where it's produced, unless. And even sometimes when the label says produced and bottled,
maybe,
you know, más o menos. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for quite a while. Where did we go wrong? How did I know? You know, I always ask the students, what can we do better for the book? What did we miss anything?
I mean, I felt like there was so much information, especially with the additional readings, that was all great stuff. So, I mean, I can't really say that, you know, something was missed, only what I don't know, you know.
Well, you know as much as we do. We've been drinking for about 40 years, so, you know.
Yeah. I mean, but it was all great information. I really can't say that there was something missing from it. You know, maybe some more tastings. I don't know.
Yeah, more exercises. Yeah,
more exercises. Yeah.
Honestly, it was funny because when I was in the middle of writing the majority of the book, whereas Lisa came up with the exercises.
Oh, okay.
Because she understood, you know, and again, it's always when you write something of this scope. I mean, there's a lot of years of drinking in here, a lot of instruction.
Yeah.
A lot of, you know, I was exposed early to academics. In fact, we had a chemical engineer buy our book and went bananas when he found all the people in the back, the who's who, and he actually got a hold of Ana Venezuela. He's in Kentucky, and invited her to speak at the Beam Institute. So they had, all because he saw her name in the back of our book. So it was really cool. He gave us a glowing endorsement on Amazon. I mean, you know, by the way, I invite you to do that same.
Yes.
If you feel inclined. Let's see. Yeah. So, you know, but like I told you in the exercises and in our correspondence, I said, don't even take us, what we say as gospel. Do your own research. Don't rely on the apps to tell you anything. Don't even rely on the CRT to tell you one thing and then because they do something else.
Right.
I've seen them, whoever it is that was being interviewed, I think she was the CRT ambassador to China. And, you know, she made her position in the CRT sound like, oh, we're just a small nonprofit, you know, and you don't realize the kind of power that they actually have.
Yeah.
They're in China for a reason, because they're trying to make sure that there isn't any fake tequila, because tequila, it has a denomination of origin, but it's literally a trademark. Yeah. So they police that trademark like Disney polices their trademark. They can shut you down with Interpol. They can, you know, they can get the international police and shut you down. So they have a lot of power. They come across as, well, we're just a nonprofit. but that's not the case.
Yeah.
Don't believe it.
No.
Don't believe it. So if someone were to ask you, would you recommend this course to somebody? I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Yes, definitely I would. Even if you just, wanted a basic knowledge of, what, like you said, it can go from someone who just wants a baseline knowledge or wants to, dive more deeper into the industry and what goes on behind the curtain. But yeah, I mean, it's a great book. It's a very interesting, and it's not like difficult to read. It's not like, you have, chemical
yeah.
formulas in there
Yeah,
or anything.
I'm not a chemical engineer, so we don't
Yeah,
we kind of lightly touch on distillation, and we let the distillers tell you. And I mean,
exactly.
we have links to
Mhm.
videos that I shot, to
Yeah,
like Carlos Camarena. Nobody can explain distillation like Carlos can.
that was a
So
great video.
yeah,
That was
so
a great
you
video.
just let him do it,
Yeah.
and when you are exposed, and we've been doing, gosh, Tequila Aficionado, we've been around, this July will be 23 years.
Wow.
And we kind of grew up with the industry and the internet. And after being around for so long, you wind up getting to know these people, on a semi-personal basis. And when they start talking, you just shut up and listen, because they've got some pearls of wisdom to to tell you. So I figured, and I had all that collected, and I thought, well, how do we share this? And that's where the concept of the books came out, and here we are. By the way, this will be right after this. We will have Araceli's final, and she'll be tasting a tequila with me, as if this were a sipping off the cuff. Except it'll be one-sided because she got the tequila, I didn't, but that's okay. That's all right. Anything else you want to say to anybody out there who's watching this now and maybe sitting on the fence? Because we've had people that send us emails and, well, how deep is it, and this, that, and the other, and you can read part of it for free on Amazon. So what would you tell somebody who's sitting on the fence about the course?
Well, I mean, I would say just do it at this point. It is a great read. It's not, like I said, it's not super intense, intricate, and you'll enjoy it. And it's also self-paced, which I love, because, I had things come up, and Mike, I was like, hey, I'm on vacation.
Yeah. I lived vicariously through her in her Instagram. She went skiing. She had a great Christmas. I think, did you have a birthday or somewhere? I don't know. I was like, yeah, I'm like, I'm enjoying myself. I go, hey, she's having a life. That's your son turned 19, right?
He turned 17, and 17. My daughter turned 19.
Yeah, see, and she's only 30, folks. I mean, come on.
I'm a baby still.
Yeah, you're a child bride, apparently.
Yeah.
Which you married when you were 12, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but no, it was great. It was great that it was self-paced, because I was able to just, get to it when I could. And, just the communication was great. Also, I felt like I got really good feedback from you, Mike, and just like I said, the knowledge and, just the communication and the feedback going back and forth. And it was definitely worth it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was a little slow sometimes because sometimes we get several students and I'm on like one guy, right? And I've got to handle the homework and then do the everyday stuff and solicitation for sipping off the cup with the Tequila Aficionado. And so everybody wants to knock on my door or whatever, can we talk to you? And I go, yeah, $100 an hour, stuff like that. But I do appreciate your patience. I appreciate you taking the course and everything you said. Now, folks, that will do it for our special edition of Open Bar with Araceli Sharp. I like using your three names because
I do too.
Yeah, because that's how it reads on her email too.
Yeah.
But stick with us, folks, because we're about to see her final. Okay, you've been watching and listening to a very special edition of Open Bar. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That young lady out there is
Araceli Sharp in San Antonio, Texas.
And you've been watching and listening to a special edition of Open Bar. Stick with us. We've got Araceli's final coming right up. And whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.